Your reign of terror has come to an end, you stupid shit stain. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye.
Remember to follow me wherever I go.
One Piece, Chapter 210. 0 be the number.
That's how you do that. Whew. Alright, let's center ourselves here. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome, awe-inspiring, smile-inducing tale of One Piece. Our last chapter saw us with really the first half being, Vivi just trying to get everybody's attention, say, stop fighting, you dumb sons of bitches, and then it cutting to the final, or at least we presume to the final battle between Luffy and Crocodile, and Luffy ultimately using the Gum Gum Storm and just pummeling Croc, and just propelling him upwards and outwards, and hopefully to his doom. So that's how the chapter left off. And that's right where this one picks up. It's great because you get to see Croc and just how far he went and flew and came up out of, and even the Straw Hats are like, where the hell did he come up out of? Because, first of all, everybody's looking at, like, him flying through the air, Within a couple of pages, the Straw Hats immediately kind of figure out what's going on. They're like, oh, man, that's Crocodile. And then they're thinking, well, if that's Crocodile, oh, that's awesome. That means that Luffy won. And all of a sudden you see this like 5-panel across thing where they're all saying Luffy won, and you all get this kind of smile on all of their faces, So definitely very cool, And as this whole thing is progressing, we see Croc's trajectory, he goes and flies up and out, of course, like what looks to be like a half a mile up in the air, And then it's kind of cool because as he's going and starting to come down, and he just comes down and and everybody's still fighting, of course, a bunch of idiots, man, just fighting and just fighting. So a bunch of brainless, mindless, freaking worthless, dickless sheep just fighting, just fighting just to fight at this point, not even attempting to see if there's any type of resolution, especially if you think about it when 10 or 15 chapters ago, before Koza got shot, and it appeared that he got shot by the, that royal army or whatever, Koza and Vivi had tried to come out and get everybody to lay down arms and everything else. So, you'd think that there's some brains in the works over here, but you got a lot of grunts and not a lot of leaders is what you have going on. And of course, there's the dust, that's flying up and everything. So everybody's just fighting because, well, he's fighting, so I might as well fight, it's a cool thing. Everybody's doing it. But it is really kind of cool the whole way that this is portrayed and laid out, and the chapter goes by very quickly. But, Crocodile winds up going, and as he hits the ground, and I don't know if it was just sort of one of those, like, fate type things, or if it was a combination of, like, just the kind of show of force of Crocodile finally being beaten, and he had stolen the reign from the country, and maybe the fact that, Pell had just went and flown up and sacrificed himself in midair with this huge bomb, and maybe that jarred something loose in the clouds or something like that. I don't know, but all I know is that it winds up starting to drizzle and eventually rain. And it's kind of cool how you see it happen, because it's like, what did you feel? Did you feel that, And it might be like Tashigi and the Marines that first feel it, or maybe it's, one of the people fighting. I don't know, but it's portrayed very cool, panel to panel, where it does start raining, and eventually that rain starts to kind of wash away all the smoke and dust that's kicked up. That's obviously not helping the situation, and that's keeping everybody fighting. So as you go and you see people start to kind of going, oh my God, it's finally raining, you also see like their attitude and their mood just sort of change, and it's just kind of like, hey, all right, we don't need to fight now. Because one of the main things that everybody was fighting about was the whole thing that they thought the king, had stolen the rain by using that dance powder, had stolen the rain from the rest of the kingdom just to have, rain in Alubarna, which was of course not the case. But nobody knew that because of the way everything was woven, the intricately woven plan by Baroque Works and Sir Crocodile. So definitely very cool the way it's portrayed, because you go and you see that right before the rain starts, you go and you see that just like flat laid out, like just eyes glassed over, look where Crocodile is just done. He's screwed, And even when that happens, the King Cobra even goes and makes mention. He's like, does that boy know how much bedrock there is between here and the surface, So clearly Luffy, clearly Luffy knocked him way the fuck past, to the moon and back type of deal. Definitely hit him harder than you could have imagined up until this point anyway. And certainly was a neat show of force as well. And then you get some people that are like, oh, is that Crocodile or is that Sir Crocodile? Like oh my God, what happened to this good man? Because as you know, he's kind of exalted as in the kingdom as this hero. And you get Usopp. It's funny because then you get Usopp going and he's just like, do you know what he did to this country and blah, blah, blah. I think that's right around the time that the rain starts coming anyway. So again, everybody, it's kind of cool because everybody starts to lay down their arms and ultimately stops fighting. And that's what we wanted. And Vivi, of course, it's neat because then they're like, Nami's like, oh, once the rain came down, the dust settled, now they could find her voice finally reached them. So you get people that are looking up and they're like, Princess Vivi, I didn't even know she was here, And so it's kind of cool. It's like a sign. To me, it's more a symbol than it is an actual act. And what happened, the rain coming down obviously symbolizes, just sort of the kingdom that had been dried and desolate and dying, now having life again and life being brought to it. And then, of course, Vivi being up in this highest point of the Alubarna, of the capital, looking down upon the subjects, not in a manner of, not in a manner of I'm better, or I'm taller, I'm bigger than you, but her voice finally being able to get to them of the stop fighting, and it's like her imploring them, I don't want any of you to die. And it's kind of cool because that's what her whole deal was, is that she didn't want anybody to get hurt, So it's very, obviously in a lot of ways it was very foolish to think that in this whole, war, battle, conflict, whatever, that nobody was going to get hurt. But really it means that her heart's in the right place, and it means that she's thinking first of her subjects as she should, as opposed to who can I use, what are going to be the acceptable amount of losses in this, as many leaders think. So I definitely thought it was cool. And then we wind up seeing, it goes and it cuts to Luffy, he's pretty drained at this point. He's done. He's pretty much done. And it's great because he's just kind of like laid out on the ground. Back down in the Mausoleum, the hidden part of the royal Mausoleum, and you see King Cobra, and he's just like, "You have my thanks." And I'm thinking in my mind, really, that's all you could muster, King? You have my thanks? Seriously, I'd be like hugging the kid. I'd have him picked up, thrown over my shoulder, and I'd be like, "Oh man, I can't believe what you just did for me." I'd certainly be a little more gracious than he was, but I guess he's kingly, and you have my thanks is all he could muster at the time. So, and Luffy just like smiles, gets this big old grin, and he's just like, "Nah, no problem," like it was nothing, And then you go and you see a couple of pages where it looks like everything from the surface is starting to collapse in. Now, if you remember, King Cobra went and pulled some kind of, stone out of this pillar or whatever that was going to cause some kind of cave-in anyway several chapters ago, plus the fight that's raged on between Luffy and Croc. So that's kind of how things are left. It really is. It's how the chapter is left. Everything looks like it's caving in on itself. And Luffy, of course, was still down there with King Cobra. Nico Robin had been stabbed and is laying there, bloodied and broken on the floor. So I don't know if that's supposed to, I'm assuming that's supposed to symbolize like, oh, everything's starting to cave in now. We got to get the hell out of here. So that's, that's ultimately what, what leads to my chapter question is, did I miss something over here? Or is that in fact what is happening? It looks like Luffy is still down in there with King Cobra and we presume Nico Robin. And if so, it looks like everything's collapsing in on them. So, or again, did I miss something in the panels and the way, everything was portrayed? I don't think that I did. It appears that, he knocked Croc way the fuck out of there, but now between that and the other things that have been going on and just the fight that's raged on in there and everything else, it's starting to, this collapse is starting to happen, and it looks as if it's caving in on itself. So, again, maybe I'm wrong, but if you could answer that to the best of your abilities in the comments down below, it'll probably be something that more than likely by the time the review comes out here, as I'm recording a few today, I may have already even had that answer. But again, a lot of this is about the interaction between us, between the community, not just me to you, but you to you, and others interacting with each other. So, and you got to remember too that not everybody in the world there's new people that come on to One Piece every day that start reading it, and who knows, maybe some of those people wind up going back and rereading it and they discover some of these reviews, or maybe a couple years from now, somebody who's now 9, that then when he's 11 and he's introduced to One Piece by his older brother or sister, starts to go and pick up on it and read it, and and he just read this chapter like I did, and then watches the review. So that's really why these are here. That's why these questions are here, because whether it's a month or a year from now, you want somebody to come in to take a look, to watch this, to see my goofy ass talking and waving my hands around for 5, 8, 10 minutes, whatever. And let's not kid ourselves. 10 minutes usually is the minimum, or around that anyway. It's the benchmark. And then really be able to kind of go and look at the comment section, you know, after looking at the chapter question, and maybe going in and taking a look back at a particular, you know, point in the chapter or giving their opinion on it. So that's really what it's there for. You know, the ones of you that are caught up with One Piece and you interact, we certainly appreciate that. That's great. But you know, but you can keep the whole "why do you ask these questions?" You know, you can just keep those to yourself, because I asked the questions for the reason that I just gave, and for that purpose and that purpose alone. And it really is. It's just to create more camaraderie amongst us as a community, and whether it be people that are on board now or people that come on board in a couple of years, that's what it's there for. So we certainly appreciate you watching as usual. Leave your comments in the comment box down below, and feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button, if you think that I deserve it. God, I'm losing my voice again. And oh, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We'll look forward to catching all of you in the next one, Nation. Truth be told, I really despised Sir Crocodile, especially by the last few chapters in the arc here, but that's just a testament to good writing, great writing as a matter of fact, because if you hate the fictional character, you know the author must be doing something right.